Superman, a force for good, democracy, and the American way. Superman has been at the forefront of American superheroes since 1933. What makes this character so endearing? Does it say something about ourselves? What we want to be? Today we'll be looking at the Man of Steel himself and what we like about him. Welcome everyone to this episode of Why We Like, the show where we analyze a fictional character or film and examine the deeper meaning of why we like it. Today's episode is all about Superman. We take a deeper look into the character to examine why we like him. Let's get this out of the way. Yes, Superman represents immigrants and Jesus. There, it's done. See you next time. Oh wait, there's more? Okay, let's do it. Part 1. Superman's Moral Code. After being sent away from his home planet of Krypton as an infant, Kal-El's ship crash lands in Kansas. He is, illegally, raised by Mary and Joseph Kent. How did they get away with this? I feel like child services would have been all up in that situation. They go from being childless to having a baby? Do they not have friends who would notice that their not pregnant friends are now suddenly parents? Anyway, Superman's moral code is heavily influenced by his parents, specifically Pa Kent. Our moral code is likewise heavily influenced by our parents, or anyone who helped raise us. In 2015, the University of Chicago found out that the amount of empathy and justice that babies display depends on how much a parent displays it as well. In his long history, John and Martha are always guiding Clark morally.
I did some things I'm not too proud of.
Well, your mother and I trust your judgment. We did raise you to know the difference between right and wrong.
And when he's older, their unconditional love.
I haven't grown into the man you raised me to be.
No, you haven't. You are so much more than that.
His parents believe that Clark will do the right thing, knowing that there are bigger things in store for him for the future.
And there's one thing I do know, son, and that is you are here for a reason. I don't know whose reason, whatever the reason is, maybe it's because, I don't know, but I do know one thing, it's not to score touchdowns. Huh?
And this is one reason why we relate to him so much. We also gain our morals from our parents. Another Superman principle is believing in the system and holding up the law. This is why he allows Lex Luthor to become president.
And I let it get this far because of the law and the will of the people.
Or why he fights against Batman in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns.
Bruce, be reasonable. You know what my orders are.
The government and the people have spoken, and Superman feels obligated to enforce and follow that because eventually the system will correct itself. Superman's faith in humanity lines up with French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. What Rousseau means is that it is society, like money, power, that corrupts man instead of man being corrupted and needing society to control him. Superman's willingness to let people vote on a president and the result being Lex Luthor, a person he knows is evil, shows that Superman not only believes in the system, but that the truth will come out and Lex will eventually fall because he is bad. But when certain lines do get crossed, Superman will try to fight within the system to change it, instead of radically fighting outside the system. In this instance, he's very much like Martin Luther King Jr. or Frederick Douglass, who believe that change can happen without needing to overthrow or work completely outside of it. That ideal is something that people can identify with because that's the power that most of us have. We resign ourselves to the fact that we can't destroy the US government, and we realize the benefits with the system and decide to change it through voting. Superman also relates to John Locke, who felt that governments and laws' existence is meant to help others. He was against the idea that there should be an absolute monarch. The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. For in all states of created beings capable of law, where there is no law, there is no freedom. Destroying the system doesn't create freedom, but changing it does. One person shouldn't have power, and the most powerful person in the world, Superman, adheres to this. And secondly, the government exists for the people. These are two very American ideals, and part of the reason why we like Superman. Conclusion. Superman's philosophies line up strongly with the idea of America and American values. Believing that people are good lines up with traditional American ideals. Superman, though, will also recognize when change needs to happen, but he doesn't destroy the system and become a dictator. Instead, he works to change it and change people's minds, like Martin Luther King Jr. and philosophers like John Locke. Throughout his history, we have seen Superman change, waver, and the like, but it is his stoic feelings towards us humans, believing in us, and being there to protect us and help us even when we screw up. He embodies so many traits we love about America, and what he fights for is so broad and vague that anyone can call themselves a fan. Superman's moral upbringing on the redemption of people is why we wouldn't break someone's neck and outright murder him. Superman may have all the power, but, like John Locke says, he doesn't want absolute power, including the power of judge, jury, and executioner. That's why Zod's death was such a controversy in Man of Steel. It didn't just reflect poorly on Superman, but also on America and everyone living and believing in it. This is why we like Superman. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. And don't forget to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe for more videos.